my friendly fractals. Today we're talking about the best hand trap of the format. Yes, new format starts Monday, so you better be on top of things. If you're not subscribed or liking the video or commenting and all that fun stuff, feel free to go do that because I'd really love to have you here in the sub squad, but we're not going to waste any of your time. I'm talking really fast today. We're going to talk about the best hand trap of this upcoming format. Well, in case you didn't watch the first 5 seconds of this video, spoiler, it's Artifact Lancia. It's also on the thumbnail. Wow, spoiler.
With the start of the brand new format and obviously the ban list, the brand new products that have come out, we get a brand new engine that is going to be splashed into everything, and that is the Brave or the Adventurer archetype.
It's funny because she's a water splash.
And speaking of water enchantress of the temple,
Aquaria. Her name's Aquaria.
A lot of people are playing her at 3. Some decks are even opting to play Foolish Burial to play a 4th copy because she can trigger from the hand or the graveyard to banish to add right from your deck to your hand. Wow. That gets your entire engine online, and if you can't get to right, you can't get to the negate.
Can't get to left. But yeah, with that being said, the best engine of the format is literally banish requiring. So if you can't banish for the turn, you can't use the best engine. And you know what the best engine is prominent in this format? Wow, that was a lot to say. It's most prominent in PK, which is a deck that banishes. And no, I'm not talking about Prank Kids. No one, who's playing Prank Kids?
That's actually going to be a really good deck. But Lancey's not insane against them. However, against Phantom Knights, hoo-wee, Batman.
That smells like an FTK.
FPK.
In case you're new to the game, Master Duel got you back into things. Phantom Knights in particular are a literal banish deck. Every single PK literally just triggers in the graveyard to do something, to special something, search something, do something. They all function off of banishing. That is the mechanic because they're phantoms. They're doing stuff in the graveyard. You get what I'm saying? Not only that, but PK is one of the only decks that didn't face any hits on the ban list at all. So it is currently the best meta combo deck with the whole Dagda, Verte, Scythe, DPE, you name it, it's in there. And now we have Brave, Adventure, whatever. This is the best combo deck of the format. And being that it is, Lancia should probably be in your main or your side deck at some point or another. So just keep that in mind. It hurts the best deck of the format.
And speaking of best decks of the format, the best deck of last format, and arguably still probably one of the best decks of this format, is Sword Soul. That deck is insane still. A lot of the decks are still opting to play a bunch of the Tenyi stuff. Even though some of the builds have moved over to the Needle Fiber combo stuff, I'm gonna keep it a stack, y'all. You imperm the Needle Fiber, you imperm the Auroradon, the turn ends. The pure Tenyi Sword Soul versions that we've been playing, I think that's still the best version.
Yes.
And Lancia absolutely destroys the Tenyi portion of that engine.
And by using Lancia so that they can't use the Tenyis or even Taya, you're relying on them having something of a Sword Soul engine to use instead of just the Tenyis themselves. So it really shuts off a good third of the deck.
And on that note, we've also really noticed that a lot of this format, even though it's not really super defined, has moved into more of a mid-range format. A lot of decks are playing like their small engine and a ton of hand traps still, because even though you have the Brave engine to set up a negate, if you have 2 interruptions like a nib to bait the negate and then an imperm or you know, a Veiler to stop that, you just get to break the board for free on your turn regardless. So a lot of these decks are playing multiple hand traps. So if you're able to have Lancia plus another hand trap, it's typically always going to stop your opponent.
And speaking of really good mid-range decks, people are going back to a more pure Tri-Brigade build of the deck because, well, the bird deck got the nest was thrown out of the whole damn tree. There are no birds to be seen here. The deck got absolutely bodied.
It sucks.
So people are switching back to pure Tri-Brigade with a little DPE package here and there, still sticking around with the Zeus. And well, Lancia has and still will continue to really hurt Tri-Brigade. They have to banish for cost for the effect. So they can't even do that.
Yikes, Batman.
Ouch. They can't do jack.
And speaking of the ban list, something that came off the ban list was 3 emergency teleport.
Which I think is absolute garbage. No deck needed that.
Yeah, one of the decks that gets to absolutely capitalize on that is Virtual World. Virtual World is one of those decks that banishes a lot, recurs a ton of those resources, and they need the banished cards to make their Chuche live to have that back row interruption. So Lancia can stop them from getting that, it can stop them from extending or even overextending, and you get to kind of just break through 1 or 2 interruptions instead of, you know, sometimes 3 or 4.
Yeah, and if Lancia is live, they literally can't use Chuche, so that's always pretty nice.
It's so nice.
Chuche is the most impressive card in that deck. Changed my mind. And then obviously some other decks to note that Lancia really hurts is Eldritch. I know it's not everyone's like first point of thinking when they think of Lancia, but the Eldritch traps in grave have to banish to set stuff. So if we can't banish to set stuff, I'm just kind of staring at Hot Conk and Sangi just waving in the distance. It really does hurt, believe it or not. So, I mean, it's a weird side target, but it's something that's possible. You know, it definitely stops the deck, trust.
Especially for all those mid-range decks that are playing like Ash, Nib, Imperm, Droplets, whatever, in the main deck. Even if you only have certain amounts of cards in your side decks that are going to answer that, I would rather be putting in Lancia against Eldritch versus like Nib. So it's just something that gives you more flexibility that you can have against some of these more rogue matchups. And then on the topic of rogue matchups, I don't really know if this is rogue, tier 2, tier 3. It doesn't really see a ton of representation, but Dragon Link is still an insane deck.
It's still good.
Yeah.
Still great.
Come Boral End Dragon, like this deck is going to be wild. So Lancia is honestly a really insane card versus that matchup. It stops all the baby dragons. It stops the chaos package. Like you're really kind of just setting up your rocket engine at that point. So it can kind of slow them down and then prevent less of a board that you have to break through. Hot
take, I think Dragon Link's going to be really good in like a couple months, and I think people are really sleeping on it. So future us, make sure you keep mind of that. And then one of the last things we wanted to mention isn't actually a deck itself, but it is a card that just recently came off of the ban list. It's at 1 now, and guess what? It banishes for its effect. So that's Fairy Tale Snow. I don't know why the hell she's legal. I don't know who thought that was a good idea.
Fairy Tale Snow is one of those cards that a lot of people are testing in a bunch of different decks. Decks that banish, decks that need additional extenders, need link climbing fodder, don't really care about the banishes, can load up their graveyard. There's just a ton of decks, once again, that can play these generic cards. So being able to stop one of those generic extenders, whether you see it or don't see it coming, sometimes it's actually really beneficial.
And then last up, really quick, another card I want to address is Evenly Matched. Evenly Matched is a card that is very popular in side decks right now. It's been seeing a lot more play lately. It's just a complete board breaker, and most people don't really have anything to stop it. And most decks that are playing it can just continue to play afterwards, and they just set up their board so that then you can't break it back, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you know what Lancia does? It stops Evenly. You can't banish off of Evenly. So, you see what I'm saying? Lancia is just a really good, well-rounded card this format, and I think it really stops most decks in some shape or form, and I think it deserves a slot in side decks. And if you can play it in the main, you can, but I think in the side, you need to. But that's about it. Lancia is one of those versatile cards that comes in and out of formats, and well, it was out last format and it's in this format. So make sure you get your copies of Lancia. It's a great card. Oh, and make sure you come back tomorrow for a sneak peek for Battle of Chaos. We will be opening a box, maybe two, here on the channel. Maybe we'll pull something good. Our sneak peek luck is really good. So make sure you come back if you want to see a little product opening and then see all the other stuff we're gonna do, because you're gonna subscribe, right? Well, thank you guys so much for watching this video. We love you. You matter. We will see you guys in the next video. Bye, team.
See ya.
Oh no! We've been banished to the end of the video. Quick, if you want to stop it, comment Chain Lancia. Don't let this happen. But you know what can happen? Dances!